So like millions of people around the world, I went to the movie theaters this Friday and watched Avatar: The Way of Water. So my initial thoughts are this: visually spectacular, as you can expect. This is a James Cameron movie and he'll always deliver on the visuals. It is an absolute treat to watch this in the movie theater, and that to the movie is in 3D. So go to the best theater you can find and watch it. Whatever money you pay for the ticket, it's going to be worth it. Coming to the story, it's definitely a sequel. It's a continuation story from where things were left off in part 1. At the core, it's a family story and it's a simple story that you can easily connect with. It is also slightly familiar with the story of part 1 and it's also predictable, but I'll get to that later. And finally, while there is a conclusive ending to this story, it does not resolve all the conflicts, therefore leaving the door open for the Avatar sequels. Now let's go into some of the details. Whatever visual effects that they did with the first movie, it was groundbreaking then. Now with the release of Avatar 2, they've upped their game with the visual effects. Seriously, they've outdone themselves. The visual effects on, the Avatar or the Navi people, as they say, it looks so real. There are many scenes where the avatars are interacting with human beings, In the first movie, maybe here and there it did certainly look a little off, but here you can't even tell the difference. It is so good, along with the environment that they've created, the forest, the water, everything just feels so real. It's just incredible. The technical work that they've done over here, hats off to the team. Great work. They've also gone for a high frame rate, which is about 48 frames per second. Usually all movies are shot at 24 frames per second. This goes at a higher frame rate. What that means is that the picture quality that you're getting, it's extremely HD. Like if you've seen 4K quality picture, right? This is like ultra 4K. So along with being 3D and everything, the visuals, it feels like you're there on that planet. At many times you were thinking, did James Cameron actually shoot this movie on an alien planet? It was that good. But visuals can only get you so far. So yes, as an audience member, and I'm sitting and watching, all the scenery, everything that's happening on screen, it looks gorgeous. But the thing that holds your interest, right? That thing that keeps you interested and invested, everything, that's the story, that's the characters. While there's a decent story in play, the story here is very simple. A family moves into a new environment. And what are the challenges that family faces? I think we are all able to relate with that concept. As a family, we have moved somewhere at some point. I'm sure everyone will be able to relate with that. And that's one of the strengths of James Cameron. When he presents a story, in order for him to connect with the audience, he always presents a very simple, a very relatable story or character. For example, you go with Titanic. While it's an historical event, at the core of it, it is the love story between a boy and a girl, separated by social hierarchy, right? The girl is rich, the boy is poor. Now you come to Avatar. You have a paraplegic marine, right? He can't use his legs. So when he gets to Pandora, when he gets to have his own avatar, for him it's like a rebirth or a second chance, where he gets to be a marine, a soldier again, or a warrior, right? And he's able to go back to doing what he's good at. So again, that's something we can connect with, a second chance or a rebirth. Here again, it's a story of a family. And here's what I said about, it being familiar, because there is a fish out of water element to the first story, where Jake Sully goes into the Navi community and he has to interact with the Navi over there, the group over there. So, he's not aware of their customs, their traditions. So it's a fish out of water story. So here again, we have a story of the family going to a new environment, a new community. So again, there's a fish out of water story over there also going on. So there are familiar elements, and the way certain characters are portrayed, like I said, like in the beginning itself, when certain things were shown to me, I kind of predicted, okay, this might happen, this could happen. By the time we got to the end, so most of those things happened. So is it good or bad? It's still interesting, because like I said, because you're able to connect with the characters and story, you're kind of invested in seeing where it's going, definitely. But the issue again, coming to the story, because it's so simple, the conflict the family is facing is a very mundane affair. Yes, you're able to connect with it, a new environment, new situation, etc. But again, it's a very mundane, normal affair. So after a while, you get used to the gorgeous visuals that you're seeing. After you get used to that, you want to see an interesting story or interesting situation happening. So the first half of this movie, it takes some time to build it up, and there are lavish scenes where the characters are just enjoying the scenery and the surroundings. So for some people it can get a little boring. For me personally, I was okay with it because I was just taking everything in. So the new environment and the new situation, things like that. But yes, after a while I did think about it. There's really not much of a conflict here for the family. Yes, there will be a conflict. We are aware of that because we know the movie and we know all the characters. We are aware that eventually the conflict will come. But the movie's runtime is over 3.5 hours or close to 3.5 hours. So after a while, it does get a little tiring. You want certain things to happen, in order for things to get interesting, in order for the story to move forward. And that conflict happens in the final 1 hour of the movie. So I'm going to go back to Titanic. So what happened to Titanic is the final 1 hour is when the ship hits the iceberg, and the whole drama, everything happens inside the ship, inside the people, everything. So that's the case with Avatar 2 as well. 3.5 hours, it's really the final hour where you really kind of get into the main conflict in this movie, the most interesting part. And again, great action set pieces, great battle. It's a 1 hour battle. So the climax itself is an entire thing is 1 hour. Spectacular. For me personally, I felt like, okay, I got my money's worth when I saw that final 1 hour. Until then, it was like, yeah, great visuals, I'm enjoying it, great 3D effects, wow, all that's great. But on the other hand, you're thinking, yeah, when I saw Avatar for the first time, when I saw Pandora for the first time, I kind of, it was also a 3D movie, so kind of saw all of this, experienced all of this, so yeah, I get it. So you're kind of in the first 2 hours, you're kind of sitting with that, yes, the story and characters are being, set up and all of that, but kind of sitting with that, so I personally feel they could have cut a few things out. They could have quickly moved on to the main conflict per se, that's the most interesting part. And then finally coming to the end, the way the movie ends is that it concludes the story. That is, like I said, the family situation, that's the main issue over here, that's the main story that's introduced here. They are able to conclude that, but the conflict in itself is not resolved. Now, James Cameron in his interview said that he's got sequels planned out. In fact, in a recent interview I saw that one, they initially started shooting for this in 2017. So for 5 years what they did is they shot Avatar 2, Avatar 3 and half of Avatar 4. So he said it like this: in the last 5 years we shot 2.5 movies. So James Cameron initially said that they need to make 2 billion to break even for this movie, and I get that because they've already shot 3 and half of 4. Now unless the sequel is a huge success, they can't release 3, they can't finish probably shooting the rest of 4 and then release that also. The second movie has to make enough money to justify releasing 3 and 4. The movie like this, or the scale at which they shot and all the sequels they planned out, this movie definitely, while they say 2 billion, right, this is the kind of movie that needs to make 3 billion and more. And it's not just a money issue, it's just that the reason I'm saying 3 billion or more is that there is a lot of sequels and projects they planned. So some of the work has already gone into it as well. So enough people have to have enough interest to want to see all that sequels and projects planned. Because when this movie ended, and this is the point I'm coming to, it's not that I didn't dislike the movie. I thought the movie was good. I had a great time. Like I said, the climax was great and everything, visually spectacular. But the real question you have to ask yourself is, am I really looking forward to Avatar 3? It's not that I don't want to see Avatar 3. I'm saying, am I really looking forward to it? And that's the question I want to ask all of you also. Are you really looking forward to it, considering the fact how Avatar 2 ended? Again, not saying that it wasn't a good movie, not saying that Avatar 3 won't be a good sequel, but the question remains, how anticipated are you when it comes to the sequels? And here's where you go back to the Avengers Infinity War or Avengers Endgame. Just imagine the hype. You were really interested in watching the sequels, how the movie was going to end, what's going to happen, all that. There was so much hype and excitement over there. Avatar sequels need to have that hype. And that's the but part of this review. But Avatar 2 may not necessarily generate that level of hype. I'm sure people across the globe will go to the best movie screens they can to watch this movie. Yes, they will. But the question remains that will they want to do that for Avatar 3 and 4 and 5? Is there that level of interest? So, like I said, it's a very interesting setup they've done, and definitely, I want to see an Avatar 3, but am I really anticipated and excited for it? Oh wow, this is going to be great. I can't wait for it to release. That's the real question over here. So those were my thoughts about the movie. So coming to the rating, I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5. Visually spectacular, story-wise simple. As always, James Cameron delivers an absolute movie theater experience that needs to be witnessed in the best movie theaters you can find, in the best seats that you can afford. That was the review, guys. Let me know what you think about the movie in the comments below. I would love to read them. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up icon, and of course subscribe to our channel for more videos and reviews like this. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Bye.